Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Welcome to Glazing with Amaco. Okay, there we go. Thank you all for letting me know that. Welcome to Glazing with Amaco. I'm Kara, and we're back after a hiatus of a few months. I think that the sound issue was I had turned off our sound so that we didn't have any background noise while I was getting things set up. And it turned off sound for all of my scenes. So let's get going. So today, now that we're back, cool. Hi everybody, it's great to be back. And today I'm going to show you some of our newest glazes. We have PC72 Fire and Ice and PC68 Golden Honey. So we're going to do a very short demo. I'm going to answer some questions, and I'm also going to show you some layering combos and some of the interesting things about these glazes. So now that we're back, before I get started, I did want to let you know that we will be going live every 2 weeks. Some of the segments will have pre-recorded segments in them. We might even have some guests at some point, and we hope to be bringing you some information about wheels as well, throwing, repairing wheels, how to adjust things, and just generally showing you some of our other products beyond glazes. So let's see. To start off with, I wanted to introduce you to PC7D2 Fire and Ice. And this glaze is related to our copper red and flambe glazes, but where it breaks clear, let me show you a close-up. Where Fire and Ice breaks, instead of being clear, it is this beautiful pale blue color. So, very deep oxblood red where thick, pale blue where thin. I'm going to show you some, let's see, show you some of my test tiles with this. So there's Fire and Ice. This is 3 coats of Fire and Ice, very dark red, 2 coats. You can see where it's breaking blue along the edge and where it's a little thin, and 1 coat. Mostly blue, just a little bit of red. So I asked everybody to give me questions ahead of time, and I will always be prioritizing the questions that I get ahead of time. I really appreciate it. So Erica Stark asked us, she said, Fire and Ice is super thick and I have a hard time applying it evenly. And that is absolutely true. You will notice in the jar it is very, very thick. And we suggest you do not thin this glaze. This is how it is meant to be to get the right amount. Now, because of the blue, you might want to apply it a little thinner than if you were going for a copper red, or use it on a textured surface. You can see where, as it ran, it was very, very red. So one of the tricks that I use for when a glaze is very thick and I don't want it to come out too patchy, I'm using a damp sponge on my piece of bisqueware, and this helps a little bit. Can even make it a little wetter, not too wet, and I do not recommend people rinse their bisque. That is something that some people like to do. I don't think it's really necessary, and then you have to wait to apply your glaze. But a very damp, very almost wet sponge can help for the glaze to go on a little bit more evenly. See how this glaze is like really thick? It's like yogurt thick. Another thing that I will always recommend is that you use soft bristle natural fiber fan brushes like this. See that? So to apply the glaze, get it nice and thick on there. Okay, I'm just checking to see if there are any comments, and apply it in long strokes. You'll notice that I do overlap my strokes, and I'm kind of floating it on. This is just like how I apply any other glaze. It's just that this goes on very, very thick. See that? Now, because you get different effects if it's thinner or thicker, you might want to only apply 2 coats of fire and ice to get a little bit more of the ice and less of the fire. Or apply more coats towards the top so that you get more blue at the bottom as well. Oops. And so that is 1 coat. For those people who think that, you know, going back and forth over it until it is dry, I consider that 1 coat. And so, there we go. And now I've got glaze on my fingers. It is great to see all of you again. It is great to be back. I know that some people have said that they really missed these live streams. I certainly missed them too. So it's really, really nice to be back shooting live streams with y'all. I'm going to set this aside for a minute and show you some other things. So we actually tested, because sometimes people feel like they need to add water. So this is, these were fired, cone 5. So these are 3 coats. And you can see how adding, with increasing amounts of water, this is a lot of water, about almost half water, half glaze. A little bit less water. I am not doing the overhead. There we go. So 3 coats, 3 coats, 3 coats, but this is like half glaze, half water, 2 parts glaze to 1 part water. And you can see such a big difference. I'm going to actually show you this with the close-up. So you can see how 50-50 water and glaze makes a big difference. You're going to, too much water, you're going to put out your fire and you'll just have the ice. So I'm going to show you some layering tiles next. One of the, some of the combos, actually I'm going to switch back to the close-up. So this is PC34, which is light sepia over fire and ice. Very beautiful. Oh, Allie says, easier to see the red in this glaze with the close-up. Thanks. This was one of our goals, was to make it easier to see and really appreciate what was going on with these glazes. This is dark green over fire and ice. And keep in mind, I'm only applying the PC45 dark green over the top half of the fire and ice, so it does run down a little bit. This is one of my favorites. This is Lustrous Jade, PC46 over fire and ice. It gets this really lovely metallic luster, almost like a mother of pearl kind of effect. This is PC72 over Arctic Blue. I thought this was a really lovely combination for those people who want to see something a little different. It does break a little green on this white clay body and gets this almost purpley tone. Dawn asks, does the fire and ice need the texture to break both colors? No, it does not need the texture. This is PC47. This is Emerald Falls, layered over fire and ice. Again, I just love the metallic luster that it creates and the kind of purpley tones. I don't think I have a sample, Dawn, that does not have texture, because it does look great on texture, but you don't need the texture for it to break the blue. This is PC44 Sage over the fire and ice. Kind of a slightly greeny, slightly more opaque kind of color. But these are some great combinations. Just love them. So among other things, I did this vase. And this is seaweed. And yeah, that's going to be a little too zoomed in. It's seaweed over fire and ice. And I got a little too thick. Sorry, let me move some things. I got a little too thick with the fire and ice here. And so there's no break. It's just the fire. But we have this beautiful green transformation. So Christina says she likes it with the water added. Well, there you go. Add a little water or just use 2 coats. You'll get a little bit more of the ice and a little bit less of the fire, but you get a lot of variation from one glaze. So I'm going to come back. And you can see it does take a little while for the glaze to dry. It's still taking a little bit. But while that is drying, I'm going to ask, does anyone have questions for me about fire and ice before I move on to Golden Honey? Well, if you have more questions for me, just drop them in the chat and I will get to them in a bit. So I'm going to move these out of the way so that I can switch to discussing Golden Honey. So some of you have seen Golden Honey in action, or you have seen our pictures of Golden Honey. And this bowl, sorry, it had a little dust in it. This bowl is glazed with 3 coats of Golden Honey, fired to cone 5. And you can see that it is a semi-gloss. It is a little bit satiny, but it does have a sheen to it. And where it's thick and thin, you do see variation. Let me show you the close-up. You can see it does have visual variation. It has almost like a hare's fur kind of look where it varies between this really warm golden tone and a deeper tone. Brenda, are you asking, did I try which one with a flux, the fire and ice or the Golden Honey? So Golden Honey looks a little bit cooler with fewer coats. So this is 1 coat, 2 coats, 3 coats. Not much variation, but you can see that it's a little bit cooler in tone, a little bit lighter, and it gets a richer color as you get thicker. Oh, fire and ice. We have tried it with a Potters Choice Flux. I don't have those samples with me today. I can post them later. But I have not tried them with any other products. So Justine says this is very much like a marigold. It is very similar to marigold. And Marie says it's really nice. Did you dab the glaze on or is it brushed? It is just brushed. It is not dabbed. Just brushed with my favorite soft fan brushes. Sherian says, I tried 4 thick coats of fire and ice on a textured piece and was surprised it didn't run at all. Beautiful. That's great to know. I am very surprised and very happy. So back to Golden Honey. We did have a couple questions. Sal Navarez asked, he said, I'm curious about the difference between Golden Honey and oatmeal. And where did my oatmeal tiles go? I am not sure where my oatmeal tiles went, but I do have a sample of Nope. And nope. I do have a sample of Golden Honey over oatmeal, and you can see where this in the section where it is oatmeal, where the oatmeal is a more translucent glaze than Golden Honey. It's a glossier glaze, and it's also a cooler tone, so it's more of a grayish color and not really yellow. Golden Honey is definitely yellow. So if you can see the difference there, so I'm kind of blocking that out. Let me switch over to the close-up again. This is Golden Honey over oatmeal. You can see the oatmeal at the bottom here. Compare it to Golden Honey. Golden Honey is a lot more yellow and more satiny and more opaque. So this does bring me to layering with it. You can layer Golden Honey under or over a lot of different things. And let me show you one that I did. This is Iron Luster with the Golden Honey over it. There was a section where it was not overlapped and then slightly overlapped. I'll show you on the close-up. Let's see. Barb says, can it be airbrushed? It should be able to be airbrushed. I don't see why not. Let me check. Yes, it is AP. You could certainly use an airbrush for it. That is my usual rule of thumb. If a glaze is AP, it should be able to be airbrushed. Christina says, it's beautiful. Buying Golden Honey at Aardvark in a couple weeks. Excellent. And Justine says, oh, this is a gotta have. It's a beautiful glaze as a contrast for a lot of other things. So there's that. And while I have it on the close-up, I'm going to switch to showing you some of the layering options. So this is PC52, which is Deep Sienna Speckle over Golden Honey. Really lovely. Very, very nice combo of red and yellow. This is Textured Turquoise over Golden Honey. I love how it creates this kind of halo at the bottom and this soft blue-green color. This is Fire and Ice over Golden Honey. Interesting combination. This is PC23 Indigo Float over Golden Honey. Gorgeous blue and yellow if you're looking for a stunning blue and yellow. Allie says, I can see there's going to be a run on Golden Honey purchases. What a great contrasting glaze it is for layering. Yes, it really is. This is Honey Flux over Golden Honey, and it makes just such a beautiful, and I can't, this is one of the sad things about video, you cannot share. It is so silky. I just love touching it. It is Really, really nice. This is another very, very popular glaze. This is PC20 Blue Rutile over Golden Honey. Slightly more greenish, but still with a lot of blue and a lot of visual texture. I don't know if you guys can see that really beautiful run and visual texture in there. And last but not least, this one was kind of a surprise to me. This is PC16 Purple Crystal over Golden Honey. Yes, it ran, so watch out if you're going to do this. But what a beautiful combination. And look at how it breaks kind of a satiny green at the edge. Just so much fun. So, Amanda Estes, and yes, I see your question, and I also see your question, Amanda, and absolutely, I checked it out. So you were asking about how to make Golden Honey more glossy. And I wanted to point out that there is always Marigold. Very beautiful gloss Celadon glaze. It is more transparent, so I get if you are not wanting it to be a transparent glaze. But I also tried putting Marigold over Golden Honey, and this is the result. So I just put Marigold over Golden Honey. There we go, on the close-up. And isn't that just pretty? Taylor says, just tuned in, and Golden Honey on its own has a finish that looks similar to my results with oatmeal, which has been much less glossy. And as I was saying earlier, sorry Taylor, you missed the part on how Golden Honey and oatmeal vary. So this bottom part is oatmeal, and here's Golden Honey. And you can see that the oatmeal, it is more glossy, but it's also more of a grayish color by itself. Golden Honey is more of a warm yellow color. So, Amanda, does that help? You know, look at how that breaks on the edges, but it is a glossy yellow. That's one option. So, let's see. I still want to put one more coat on here. I'm going to start moving things out of the way. Are there any other questions about Golden Honey or Fire and Ice? I mean, they are both just such spectacular glazes. We are really excited to have added them. So Trish asks, how many coats of Golden Honey on the bowl? This was 3 coats of Golden Honey. It was not layered. 3 coats of Golden Honey, not layered. This was 2 coats of Golden Honey, 2 coats of Marigold over the top of it. But this is just Golden Honey, nothing else. And just brushed on. Let's see. Arlene asks, how does Golden Honey work on a speckled clay? And I don't have that test yet, but we are doing testing of all of our current production mid-range glazes on speckled, well, not speckled, sorry, on dark clays. I imagine that it will show a little bit of the speckle, but not necessarily a lot. Depends on how your clay is speckled. If it has a manganese speckle, it will probably show up. So, this is my second coat. Get this on here. I'm glad everybody's been enjoying this. And if you have any last questions, I'm going to get this fired and I will post an image in the comments once it comes out of the kiln. Again, this is just 2 coats. I might put a little bit of extra at the top, but oh, I missed a spot. But again, to get like a really even coverage, just kind of go around. Do not water it down unless you really want those watered down results. And I will be back in 2 weeks with another new glaze to share with you all, because we have a lot of new things that I want to show you. So thank you for sharing my glaze journeys with me, and I will see you in 2 weeks.